I'm Pauline from Passion Cube, your personal branding coach. Have any one of you ever felt at a certain point of your life, you are feeling that you are being worthless, that you don't belong to this world at all? If you have experienced things like this at a certain point of your life, you might be experiencing what we call the imposter syndrome. So what is exactly imposter syndrome is all about? So today I would like to share with you in more detail about what is imposter syndrome and what are the ways that we can use to overcome that. All right. Now, in a nutshell, imposter syndrome is a situation whereby if you yourself, you feel that you are convinced that you are faking your way through your achievement. All right. So if you feel it that way, and at the same time, when you're faking your way through your achievement, you felt that you are being a fraud. And when you feel it that way, that makes you feel that you don't deserve to have any success at all in your life. With this kind of syndrome that you have with you, that is what we define as imposter syndrome. Now, bear in mind, this is something very typical because according to research, it has been shown that 30% of people in the world are experiencing this imposter syndrome at a certain point of their life. So it is totally relatable. And if you're experiencing this at a certain point of your life, it is totally normal. So what happens is when it comes to imposter syndrome, there might be situation whereby you will feel that you are doubtful, you will feel that you are worthless, you will feel that you are fearful, that whatever achievement that you have achieved is just a fraud. And at the end of the day, people will question your ability. So what happens is when this comes into the picture, a lot of us will start to question, whereby, is this a good or a bad thing? Now, before we proceed further to define whether is this a good or a bad thing, I'd like to share with you a few examples on how would you know that you are experiencing this imposter syndrome or not, to give you a perspective. Yeah. All right. Now, for example, say you are a person doing insurance sales. All right. Now, being an insurance salesman, and say this is your first year starting to join this business. On your first month of joining into this business, you managed to close a case with a premium of 2,400 per year. All right. So people around you, including your leader, including your colleagues, they are congratulating you and they are complimenting you for the first case that you have successfully closed. But what happened is deep inside your heart, you don't take the compliment purely and sincerely from your heart because you just don't feel you have not done good enough. You just don't feel that the 2,400 premium per year, it is something of significance to you. That's where if you experience this kind of situation, there might be possibility that you are experiencing the imposter syndrome. All right. Now, I'll give you another example whereby say you are in the corporate environment and you are an employee. So in the project that you are dealing with, you manage to help the company to save 20% of operational costs because of the proposal, because of the idea that you're proposing. And at the end of the day, when you get a pat of the shoulder from your superiors saying how good you are and for the great job that you have done for the company, and they are going to promote you for the next year promotion, deep inside your heart, you start to feel fearful because you feel it is just by chance or by luck that you are helping the company to be able to save that 20% off. But you don't feel that you have the ability to take on a new promotion at a higher ranking next year. So if you are experiencing this, these are the examples that you are having the imposter syndrome. All right. Now, I get a lot of questions whereby people are asking, is it good or bad to have imposter syndrome? Well, it depends on how intense is the imposter syndrome that you have in you. Say it is something not as intense, something very, very light, and it just happened on and off, just at a very light level. So it might be good because it serves as a motivation factor for you to even strive further, for you to be able to achieve even higher with the goal that you want to achieve. So it could be a motivating factor for you to be even better than who you are today. Maybe you're able to break through your own comfort zone. But if you are highly intense, involved in this imposter syndrome, it could be possibility that it will trigger a lot of psychological and emotional pressure on you, because constantly you feel that you are never good, you are never good enough, and at the same time, you are fearful, you are doubtful of your own achievement, of your own ability to do whatever that you can achieve. So if this goes beyond the boundary of manageable, yes, there is something that we need to manage and we need to take note. And that's where I'd like to share with you, when you realize that you have this imposter syndrome, what are the ways that you can use to overcome this imposter syndrome? All right. Now, just to give you a general nutshell, just remember these 3 A's when you are overcoming the imposter syndrome. What will be the 3 A? Number 1, remember to acknowledge that you have imposter syndrome. Like for example, that I have been giving you just now. So try to reflect on yourself. And if you realize that you might have imposter syndrome, and tendency is, and the possibility is, yes, you have it. So just acknowledge, because like I mentioned just now, 30% of people in the world, they have it at a certain point of their life. So it is totally okay. So step number 1, acknowledge that you have the, what we call the imposter syndrome. And after that, that is where you accept the compliment of the establishment of the, I would say, the accomplishment or whatever achievement that you have done. Because what happens is when you are able to accept the compliment, that is where you are also accepting that whatever that you have done is your own accomplishment. You are not a fraudster and you deserve to be successful in your life. All right. And bear in mind, at the end of the day, a true imposter will not have imposter syndrome. So reflect on yourself. If you have it, do you think you are really an imposter? And do you deserve on whatever achievement or whatever success that you want to achieve in your life? So till we meet again next time, stay sane, stay safe, and stay inspired. See you again.